All right, Bobby, you're our intro guy.
Today is a special day, and today is a podcast where we talk about that special day. I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Joey Nickel.
Welcome to Today Is.
All right, okay. Welcome to Today Is, late night.
Yeah, it's they don't know when we record.
We're recording. This is our nighttime recording. We used to do these.
Yes.
Every so often. We used to do a late night recording over here after. I have a show every Thursday. I have a trivia show every Thursday, and I used to come over here after the trivia show.
Right.
We haven't done that in a while. I mean, yeah, quite a while.
Right, yeah. Because you've had a Thursday,
usually,
show
yes.
is now an open mic at Root Down.
Correct, but now I happen to cover for the Tuesday show, and so we decided to do it after that because you had that available.
Yes.
How are rehearsals going?
Rehearsals are going good. This week is actually a week where we've not had play rehearsals, which worked out because I've got several stand-up shows booked, and
Friday on Saturday you have something.
Yep,
Thursday too?
Thursday I'm gonna come out to Root Down.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Nobody's coming out to Root Down.
Oh, what happened?
Now Root Down is canceled.
Oh no. Okay. I'm sorry, I did not know that.
Root Down is canceled. He wasn't making enough. Just not enough people were showing up.
Okay.
He wasn't making enough money to justify the expense. I know some people will run an open mic for free.
Right.
I am not one of those people. Now, that being said, I wasn't charging a lot of money.
Right.
But I do to drive out there and get together and make flyers, and I mean this is my job. So
right.
if I'm gonna do it, I want to get paid, and I get paid for my open mics, and it just wasn't. He couldn't justify it. We did it. I mean, he gave us plenty of opportunity.
Right.
We did it for like 5 months or something like that. Maybe 5's a lot. No, I don't know. October I think is when we started it. And it was like the whole month of October. It was like the beginning of October.
Right, yep.
So it was like October, November, December, January, 4 months. We did it for a solid 4 months.
Yeah, a third of the year.
Yeah. And so I guess, yeah, I mean, if you can't make it successful enough in 4 months, then it's probably not going to take off after that. Now, I have talked to some comics that want to keep it going and maybe do it for free. At first, I was thinking that would be fine, but now I think I don't want to do that because I don't want to set the precedent. Like, oh, if you can't afford it, if it's not pulling in enough people for you to pay for it, then you can get it for free if you just stop paying them. Right. I don't want to set the precedent to other venues that will do it for free.
Right. That is a tough spot to be in because I love both ideas. I love the idea of a place to go to work on the craft. But
yes,
I also understand that you're driving a significant distance to get there.
Yeah.
If that's one of the things that kept me out of there. It started at a late time, and it's a significant distance from my home as well. Mm-hmm. There's a commitment, and yes, while I'm committed to the craft, gas costs money.
Yeah, and it's one thing to go to an open mic for free because you don't have to go every week,
right.
But when you're hosting it, you have to go every week. Yeah. I mean, maybe if we had some sort of rotating host schedule, but even then, I don't want to set the example to other venues that, oh, if you don't want to pay, you don't have to.
Right.
Not that I have a problem with comics opening up a venue and not getting paid for it. I mean, I do, but not that I'm gonna stop anybody from doing that. But I do have some other things in the works for Thursdays. We might be starting another show somewhere else, a different kind of show. I'd like to get going another show like we had at Freshbot.
Okay.
Oh, Fresh Pot is canceled too, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if I told you that. Did I tell you that?
I believe somebody mentioned it, but
I mean, shout out to Randy, the guy who runs, or DJ Fresh rather, the guy who runs things over there. Great guy. He gave us a great venue for 3 years.
Yeah,
we did it there. 3 years. I mean, when we first started doing it, we were doing it like. We did it twice a month for a while, then we did it every week, and then we settled on once a month, and I felt like it was a really good once a month open mic. We got a lot of people to come out, but lately his crowd has really been there for karaoke, and he's kind of turned into a karaoke bar, which I don't know if he's necessarily happy about that, but he's making money.
It pays bills.
It's paying the bills. People come out to do karaoke. They pretty much do karaoke every day of the week now there. And Fridays are a big karaoke night for them.
Yeah.
And it got to the point over the last probably 6 months to a year where people weren't showing up for the comedy show, and then they'd show up and there'd be some people there towards the end, but they were just waiting to do karaoke.
Right.
And people were just it was more of an annoyance that we were doing a comedy show. Like, we would just want to do karaoke. And that's fair, and he, honestly, he probably let it go he probably tried to make it work longer than he should have, and I'm very grateful to him, and I'm glad we were able to have that venue for as long as we had it. But yeah, that is no longer a venue that we have.
I want to talk about a win. Shantytown is amazing.
Shantytown is phenomenal. Shantytown has taken off. I mean, it took off a while ago, but it's still packed every week.
I was out there last night for the first time in probably 2 months, I want to say.
Yeah.
And there were comedians there that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And crowd that was actively engaged that wanted to
The crowd was great
listen.
this week. The crowd was really good at Shantytown this week. They were really engaged. They were really responsive. Like, you could really work out a good set there, and it wasn't just like messing around and trying to figure out wording and stuff like that. You could actually do a good set there.
Yes.
Like, you could have recorded there and it would have looked good or sounded good. I might try to bring in some lights just for that purpose, so that we can record, because the lights aren't that great up there.
Yeah.
So I might bring my own lights next time and try to record it. Now, that being said, as soon as I bring lights and start recording, people are going to stop coming. But
yeah, as soon
as I try to get evidence of this.
Yeah, as soon as people see what's actually in the bar, that's when it's going to be a little spotty.
Right. But I'd really love to do something like Josh Johnson does, where he just kind of recorded it. He did a whole, when he started touring, he just started recording everything and then releasing a lot of stuff. He's a very train of thought kind of comic a lot of times. I'm sure he has bits and stuff he does, but he would kind of release all the time. He would release these clips of just whatever was going on in the news, kind of. He'd kind of talk about what was going on, and they were funny and they were good. And I do that a little bit at Shantytown. There are train of thought moments that I wish I could get on recording sometimes, and I might try to do that. I might try to set something up.
I was working on a bit that I've used before and found a new rhythm for it last night.
That's great.
At Shanty, found a new punchline in there. That just really, really worked with it, and part of it was just the crowd engagement. Like, hey, this is working. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really fun night. I feel like a lot of comics got some great progress and great value for that show. You know who showed up? And I think you were gone by the time he showed up. James Chafin.
Did he?
Yeah, James Chafin showed up and did a set.
Okay.
And killed. And it was even towards the end of the night. Like, we still had people there. We still had people there that were there the whole time. And like, I did at the end of the night, after everybody was done, I did a few more jokes to close out the night, and I made callbacks to my set from the beginning of the night that people remembered, because they were still
nice
5 or 6 people there that had been there from the beginning of the night.
I have to ask though, James Chafin, is he tucking his beard into his pants at this point?
No, it does free flow his beard. He's
okay,
not tying it to his pants.
Okay,
but yeah, he's got a pretty lengthy beard.
Yeah, I think he's the person I know with the lengthiest beard.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even. Yeah, he's definitely got the longest beard of anybody I know. It's pretty long. But he had a great set. He murdered. Like, it was fun. I haven't seen him do a set in a while. He shows up sometimes to shows.
Right.
And he usually shows up just kind of at the end and hangs. Actually, you know what? He did Root Down a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But it was towards the end of the night, and there wasn't really anybody left. But last night, it was great. Like, there was still a bunch of people there. He had a great set. It went really well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, that's one venue that, Ian, the owner, he's very happy with what we've done with that venue and everybody that's been able to come out. I remember when I took it over, the guys, and this was the hard part about it, was the guys who were running it before weren't asking for money.
Right.
And it was a good time and a good spot and a good area, and I liked going, and the guys were just like, we don't want to come out here anymore. Like, it's too much of a commitment, and so we're gonna let it go unless somebody wants to take it over. And I talked to Ian. I kind of knew him a little bit, but not a lot. And I talked to him, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to keep this going. This is a good mic, but I don't want to do it for free. But I can bring it into my Comedy Super Friends network and promote it that way, and hopefully we can get some more people to come out and make it successful for you guys. How would you feel about paying me if I do this?" And he agreed to it, which is, that's a hard sell when he's already been getting it for free.
Very true.
But I was able to sell him on paying me, and
it's doing better.
And it's doing better than it was. Yeah, it's definitely it's really. I mean, I haven't been to every open mic because there's new ones coming up every now and then in Jacksonville, but I think it's probably the most successful open mic in Jacksonville.
I really think so. And you've been to more than me, but just as far as recognition, audience, consistency, it has all of the things you need for a successful open mic. You are an investment, Joey. You're an investment.
I think it's really worked out well at Shantytown, and I feel like that's been one of my more successful projects at Shantytown. And honestly, I do have to give credit to Zach Malcolm and Dean Nimick, who they didn't start it, but it started to kind of pick up while they were there.
Right.
And it was a good mic when they were hosting it, and that's why I wanted to keep it. So there's that, and they weren't the first ones to do it there, but they were the ones who were doing it when I took it over, and I'm grateful that they kept it alive long enough for me to care about it and
absolutely.
take over.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about the show last night, I saw a comedian do a joke, and it was one of the jokes where I'm like, wow, that is the complete opposite side of the political spectrum than I am on. and it was a good joke. It was well crafted. It was
still a good joke, yeah.
Just a great joke, very funny. And then afterwards, I'm like, hey, that's a funny joke, and we just chatted about it. I that is probably one of my favorite things about comedy. It's like, hey, I don't agree with that, but that was really funny and well presented.
What was the joke? Like, women should have rights? Like, is that
exactly.
complete opposite of what you believe?
Yes, exact opposite of what I believe. And I say that as my wife is in the kitchen making food, which makes me feel terrible. No, it was just a random political joke.
That's and it was a good night. Everybody did a great job. It was so good that Chris Buck did it set.
Did he?
And he often, I would say 9 times out of 10, he shows up every week, but 9 times out of 10, I'm like, hey, you going up tonight? He goes, nah, I'm just gonna hang. But tonight he could feel the energy of the crowd, and he knew it was gonna be a good show, and he did a set.
Yeah, I give myself some credit for that because I bought a sandwich there and as part of the sandwich, you got a bag of chips, and I didn't want the chips, so
You gave it to
I
Buck.
gave them to the Buck. I'm like, here, I don't need these. Do you want them? And he's like, yes. And I assume he ate those chips and used that energy to get on stage.
I bet that's what it was.
Yeah.
If they did he doesn't want to do it every week, but if the steak sandwich guy came every week, that would be a phenomenal. Like, it would be the best thing in Jacksonville.
That
Like,
is an exceptional
open mic comedy
steak
night,
sandwich.
steak night. Everybody comes. Like, it'd be the most successful comedy show in Jacksonville if we did steak night. If they had steak night every week.
The only way I would change that is like maybe rotation of like a slightly different sandwich, but if it's the same kind of quality,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he does do a chicken.
right.
That's not bad. But he ran out early on it. I've had the chicken before. It's very good.
Okay. Yeah.
He does a chicken and he does a steak, and then he's also done another kind too.
like a really good hot dog there would
A hot dog would be good,
yeah,
something like that.
like a high class
Yeah.
hot dog with like really good
honestly, it
fixings.
makes me think like, I don't know, just the steak sandwiches, something like that is just so easy and people, it's simple. Like, I almost like if we try to do it's almost something that I'd want to do at a real show sometime. Like, if we just have a venue that doesn't have food, we just hire him to come out, or we don't have to. The thing is, like, we don't even have to hire him out of pocket. He just sells his sandwiches.
Yeah.
And it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it's almost like having a food truck come out. I think usually food,
And he's very mobile.
Yeah.
And a food truck, is good too. But like, he's just so simple, and something like that. I don't know. And like, he could do it right there.
Yeah. I'm not saying a food truck over him. I'm saying just it's similar, but yeah, I would take those steak sandwiches all the time.
Yeah.
Those are
Very good.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great show. Everybody come out every Monday. Now, steak sandwich night is usually the first Monday.
First Monday is steak sandwich night.
But
Thank you. Yeah.
he was getting surgery on his nose last week. I don't know if you saw his bandages. He got had his deviated septum fixed.
Oh yeah, I'm glad he got that fixed. I hear it's terrible.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty rough. But he did it the second week instead. But he, even when he can't do it the first week, he does it at some point. He'll do it. And then Ian usually lets me know so that I can put it out there that we're doing steak sandwich night. But yeah, really good show. It's really taken off. It's really been a great place to do comedy or to watch comedy. So, come out every Monday at 8:30. Don't come to Root Down on Thursdays.
No,
you can
don't.
if you want.
Yeah.
It's still a great business, but we're not doing a show there on Thursdays anymore. Let's see. Did you have any shows last week?
Last week, no.
We did. Wait, did you end up performing at the Comedy Zone?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, but he asked you to.
He asked me to. I had play rehearsal.
Oh, right, you did play rehearsal.
Yeah, so.
Well, I stuck around and performed at the Comedy Zone.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was not good. And I don't know. There were I don't know, 15 people there, which is not terrible. But it's such a big, it's not good at the Comedy Zone, but it's not terrible. Like, you can have a good show with 15 people there.
Absolutely.
Like, that's possible, but not last week. It was pretty rough. Like, it was. I to be fair, I went up first after the host,
right,
and I have not done that at the Comedy Zone probably in 5 years.
Yeah.
Or more. Like, I don't know. Can't remember the last time I went up first after the host.
I other than being like a random draw, I can't remember going up that early for anything.
Right.
In
it was
a
super
while,
early. Going up
years.
first, it was pretty rough. I don't know if anybody else did better the rest of the night, but it certainly was not great for me. It was really, really pulling teeth on getting some laughs on Wednesday. But that's fine. That happens every now and then. Actually, I had the busiest weeks of the year so far, which is not that long, but it was busiest week I've had in a long time, though, because Monday I had the cigar bar. I did Ponte Vedra, Island Grill Ponte Vedra.
Okay. Yep.
Island Grill Cigar Bar Ponte Vedra. Tuesday I did Gainesville And we talked about that. Did we talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about it already.
Because you stayed at the hotel.
Yes, I stayed at the hotel. Wednesday, I did the Comedy Zone, unplanned. Thursday, I did my normal trivia and then Root Down. And then Friday, I did Really Good Beer Stop.
Yes.
It was a good show, thanks to the people who came out. We did not sell a lot of tickets. I think our final count was 17.
Okay.
Which is pretty good, but not as good as it usually is there. I think that's our lowest so far.
It was more than the Comedy Zone.
It was better than the Comedy Zone. We had I think our lowest previously was 30. Was our lowest amount last time, and our lowest amount this time was only 17, which is not great. But it still was a good show. The owner was there. The owner loved it. It was a good time. He's still up for it. It was the Friday before the Super Bowl.
Yes,
which is a rough weekend, and it was still good though. It was great. Nick Harvey did a great job.
Nick is fantastic.
Jack Putnam destroyed.
Really,
yeah, it was so funny.
I shouldn't be surprised at that, but it's
He's
also
so good at just off the off the top of his head. Especially if he's got something to focus on,
right?
He can just murder that way, and it's so funny. And what's funny is he came late. He was late, he was running late, and I was having him go first, and he's like, "Hey, I'm running late." And I was like, "Okay, it's fine. We're gonna start about 5 minutes late anyway because we're waiting on a couple more ticket sales." And then he came in the room. And I was like, "Okay, we're starting." And then he went up right away and just murdered, and it was great. And then Richard did not murder. I feel bad. Richard is a good comic, but he had a rough time with them.
Right.
It's just one of those things. Brandon did very well. Brandon Follett did very well. He had a few friends there, which that helped.
That always helps.
And then Nick obviously did great. Nick was phenomenal.
Nick is always wonderful.
It was a really great show, and we had a great time. That was a lot of fun. Then Saturday morning, I had my market over in Fleming Island.
Right, yeah.
That was a little rough at the beginning. I think it was a little cold to start off, and again, Super Bowl weekend.
Yes.
We ended up with a good crowd in the afternoon, from about noon on was okay. It was still pretty fun, and then I did Full Disclosure.
Full Disclosure, yes. That is one that I was waiting to ask about.
Yes. Now you've done it.
I've done that show.
You've done two shows there.
I've done Full Disclosure, and I did another one. I forget what it's called.
I forget what it's called too. One that I can't do.
One that you should not do. Yes. So Full Disclosure, I will give just a brief description. You go up on stage and you tell a story, and then improvisers come up and they act out things that are inspired by that story. Not necessarily that story, but things inspired by that story.
Yeah. Yes. And it was, first of all, it was packed.
Yes.
There was one seat available, and I sat in it during the I sat in the audience during the improv parts, but otherwise it was almost a sold out crowd.
Yes,
which is great. I've never performed in front of a sold out crowd there before.
Okay,
because typically their stand up shows don't get as much ticket sales as their improv shows.
Right,
and I've never done one of these where it's a combination. And I will tell you, it was one of the greatest comedy experiences of my career.
Awesome.
It was phenomenal. It was such a amazing experience. I asked Marcus Crespo ahead of time. I was like, "Hey, what stories should I do? My set well enough. What stories should I do?" And he said, "You should do these stories." Right. And I did. And they all three stories kind of connect.
Right.
And it went so well. And it was so crazy to watch somebody play me in
Yes.
on stage playing, and and then referring to that person as Joey or Joey Nickel, like that was crazy. Or like somebody playing somebody I knew in the story, like that was really fun. And it was just it was so good, and the crowd loved it. Like everybody had a great time, and and they did encourage me. They said, "Hey, you're a stand-up. Try not to tell jokes. Like try to actually tell the story." Even if you have to get in the weeds a little bit, because we need as much detail as possible.
Right.
Like we want to be able to pick out as much detail as possible, and then they ask you questions after you tell your story, just to get more context and to work on it. I mean, really great. I couldn't believe how what a great time I had on that show.
And I think one of my favorite things about that experience is the improvisers take it in a way that you would not expect.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, oh wow, I like my brain just doesn't work to go there on this story. Yeah. And it's always fun to see that just kind of unfold. It's like,
absolutely.
all this creativity is amazing.
It is crazy how directions they can take it that you would never have imagined.
Yes.
It was so much fun. And I would recommend anybody. I mean, to go to the show is fun even. So they do 3 stories, but before the final story, they pull somebody from the crowd to tell a story, and then they do it for that person, and that was fun. Like, it was really a good time, and that was by far the best show of the week for me, and it was a nice cap to the week. It was a blast. And I'd love to do it again sometime. They only do it quarterly, though.
Yes, yep. It is not.
I wish they did it once a month, but
yeah, it would be fantastic. I think that they could pull in the talent to do that. And the thing is, you don't even need to have a stand up. You just need to have somebody who is engaging and can tell a story.
Yeah, right. And the guy who told the story, who wasn't a stand up from the crowd, he did it well, and in fact so well that after the show I said, you should come to an open mic and tell that story. Like, you're good at telling that story.
Yes.
And there's a couple things like you can work on to polish it up and to tighten it up, but honestly, it's a good story, and you're not bad on the mic. Like, you're not, some people just, as soon as they get on the mic, you like fall asleep or whatever, or you're just like, they do not belong on a microphone. But this guy did well, and he told the story succinctly. Like, he didn't really include a bunch of information you didn't need to hear.
Right.
And then,
but he had enough to give it. But
he
meat.
had enough to give it meat and for them to work with. Which is, I said that's the biggest mistake most people do when they first start going to open mics, is they say way too much. They that. In fact, I don't even like to give advice to new comics, just because. First of all, I used to give advice to comics, but then I was like, wait a minute, like, none of this it's all subjective. Like, any advice I give them is going to be advice from my perspective.
Right.
But they need to find their own perspective. So I typically don't give advice to comics, except there's like 2 or 3 things that I tell everybody, even if I didn't hear their set. Because if it's their first time or their first few times, and they're like, hey, what'd you think? And I usually, like, if they say, what'd you think of my set? I usually say, I wasn't listening. Even if I was. I don't like it, because it wasn't good. No matter what, it wasn't good. Like, if this is your first time or your second time, like, it wasn't good. And the best I'm gonna be able to say is, like, that's a cool story. Like, you should keep working on that. That's the best I'm gonna be able to say about it. So I usually say I wasn't listening. But if they say, like, any advice, what should I do? How should I move forward? Obviously I'll tell them where all the mics are.
Right.
If this is their first mic they've ever been to, I tell them where all the mics are, who hosts them, stuff like that, all that kind of logistical stuff. Come to the Comedy Zone, that kind of stuff. But the universal advice: say less words. It's always less words than you think it needs to be.
Cut the fat.
The fat. Like, just. I mean, I know it's like some people will say, well, they're not good enough yet to know how to cut the fat. It's true, but just have that in your mind. Know that you're going to have to cut things down.
Yes.
No matter what. Advice number 2: get on the mic as many times as possible. The more you get on the mic, the easier it's going to get, and the more you're going to learn. Those are really the only two advice I give.
I give one piece of advice, and I usually will seek people out to give this if I see them and they're set, and I don't
zip up your fly.
No.
Oh.
I usually say leave it down. Give people a reason to talk. No, I tell them don't ask questions. Don't be, hey, did you do this or did you see this? No, tell.
Did you guys see that thing? Or right.
Don't do that. Tell them, hey, when this happens, I see this, or when this happens, we see that. Just avoid it, because people are going to answer you, and that's the last thing you want when you're a new comedian, is that conversation.
I will give you advice for my show specifically. Please don't talk to me. Please don't say, Joey Nickel, what do you think about... Don't talk to me as the host. Like, don't do that. Every time, there's one person in particular that does it almost every time. I think I've been mean to him enough that he has stopped doing it. But then last night, he did it, but he wasn't... I thought he was about to talk to me, but he was just referring to me. Right. But he said my name, and I was like, oh... and immediately, people around me laughed because they knew why I did that. But then I realized he wasn't addressing me; he was just referring to me.
Right.
But don't talk to me. It infuriates me as the host.
I'm sorry that I talked to you.
If I am in the audience of a show that's not mine, fine. Whatever. I hate it when people do crowd work in an open mic, but. Whatever, I'm in the audience. I'm just an audience member at that point. Right. If you want to refer to me, fine. But there are two comics that do it almost every time, and so much so that I try to avoid being in the room when I bring them up. It's first of all, don't do it at all. Don't talk to the audience. Don't address the audience and talk to them. And I don't know.
How are they going to be the next Matt Rife if they can't do crowd work?
They're not even doing crowd work. They're doing things like. Hey, you ever have you ever had a car do this before? Yeah. What was your reaction to that? They're doing interview questions. They're not even like what do you do for a living? I'd rather what do you do for a living and then tell a joke. It's so stupid. And then I'm being very mean right now, but I'm so sick of it. I'm just sick of it, and I'm sick of me as the host. Just don't do that. Also. Let's not make fun of the venue. Let's not say bad things about the venue. Make fun of the venue if it's funny.
Right.
Fine. Yeah. But don't say oh, I'm here at a, whatever, and just don't what? Okay. Why are you taking shots at the place allowing us to do comedy?
Yeah. And I could go off on most venues.
Yes.
Don't.
We all know they suck, but don't bring it up. You pretend like this is the best place you've ever done comedy. That bugs me when people automatically just start ragging on the venue, but not 99% of the time. If it's an open mic, they're not doing it in a good way. They're not funny. Sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they'll do roast style jokes about the venue, and that's funny. One of the funniest things I ever heard was there's two things they say about Shantytown, because they take old taps and they put them in the ceiling.
Yes. Yeah.
And so somebody once said, what is this, the upside down of, the Stranger Things reference? What is this, the upside down of bars or something? Or something. He did it better. It was a good joke.
Yeah,
that's fine. Reference things in the room, that's fine, and tell funny things about them in the room. But don't say things. Don't just insult the place. And try to call that comedy.
Everyone in here is inbred, but what? Yeah, things.
Yeah, and I'm just telling jokes in front of all these inbred people, and it's what do you? Come on, man.
Yeah. No.
Don't insult your audience and the venue. I just that bugs the heck out of me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know why people do that, but. Anyway, come to Shantytown.
yeah. It's good. Well, we do have to kind of move to the
forward. Let's see. 34 minutes in, we're going to get into our topic. Our topic today is extraterrestrial What was it?
Extraterrestrial Culture
Day. Extraterrestrial Culture Day, which is actually a good topic for today because this weekend I went to Disney, and specifically I went to Hollywood Studios where Star Wars is.
You had when did you have time to go to Disney?
I don't know. Somehow we did it.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, somehow we did it. We made it to Disney. Yeah, that was another reason why it was the roughest week of my life. But I'm actually wearing one of my favorite extraterrestrials is on my hat. It's a pin of. See?
Oh, I see. It's Grogu.
Yeah, a pin of Grogu from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
One of my favorite extraterrestrials. I thought this would be a good topic because we both like to watch hi-fi stuff. There's plenty of culture, extraterrestrial culture out there.
There is. I'm actually listening to the most recent edition of my favorite audiobook series, which is all about space travel and whatnot, and they talk about extraterrestrials and the different cultures that are out there. And actually, one of my favorite things about this is the differences in the cultures for these extraterrestrials.
Yeah, I really like good world building. Like I really like it when they when an author or a writer of a show or whatever, they really take the time. Gene Roddenberry was great at it. It really took the time to care about the characters enough to create a culture and create an ecosystem for them and create a distinction for them and why they're interesting and why they would even be interacting with humans, that kind of stuff. I love stories like that. What's the name of the book that you're reading?
So the I'm trying to think the name of the book. The series it's called Expeditionary Force, and the author's named Craig Allenson, and it starts off with Earth. It's just a normal day. It actually the first book is called Columbus Day because it happens to be Columbus Day, and all of a sudden aliens appear. And they blow up a lot of stuff on Earth, and Earth is suddenly in the middle of a space war, and we are enlisted on one side, and we kind of realize, hey, we might not be on the right side, and then fun, and it's actually it's a big long thing, and like we're in like book 19 now. It is very funny. It's written kind of as an adventure comedy thing. And like the lead character, he ends up, helping humanity, and all these great things happen. But you meet all these different kinds of aliens. My favorite alien species in this book, they're referred to as the Beatles, because they kind of have beetle-like characteristics. But their entire society.
And they're from Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah, they all have that flop haircut. Yeah. It's fan. But their entire society is built on the concept of gambling. So it's all
kind of like how the in Star Trek the Quark
yeah.
Oh man, what's their names? The who like their entire society is built on like commerce, like business and commerce and stuff like and trying getting the most money out of things and stuff like that.
Yeah. So these guys they're all about gambling. It's like, hey, what are the odds of this? To where even like they're they will gamble on the outcome of battles. Like, hey, what's the probability of us winning this war? And it's like, oh, it's this, but I'll give you these odds. And so they're betting against each other as far as, and it's just, it's incredibly weird and really fun. I'm like, I don't know anybody that likes gambling that much. And it's just,
That's interesting. I like that when they can focus on something and it makes you like, oh, that's interesting information, and it's when you want to learn more about them and stuff like that. One of my favorite, obviously the Klingons are great. I love the world building that's all in the culture development that's always put into the Klingons. and early on, he said that the Klingons, as far as aesthetically, he always thought of them as kind of Egyptian. Like the aesthetic of the Klingons is a little bit Egyptian. But also, as it went on, as it developed, it seems to have pulled from a lot of Viking lore and stuff like that. Because, you have Stovallkor, which is like, what's the Viking heaven or whatever?
Not Asgard, Valhalla.
Valhalla is like that. You have to die in battle. Like that's very much Viking. It's it feels like a combination of like Vikings and Egyptian, Middle Eastern kind of culture, but definitely the war aspect is more Viking and the conquering aspect is more Viking. And it's they do a good job of, that's always been the main kind of alien in Star Trek that's always done well. And very rarely do you see, or it's very hard to, when there's such an established culture, it's very hard to add to that culture or to add to it in a show. But every once in a while, a Star Trek show will come along that will find something to add to it or find some avenue to go down that wasn't explored before.
Yeah.
Even though Next Generation did so much to establish what the Klingons were. Much more than the original series, even, or the movies.
Yeah. The original series, it was just like, hey, there's these really bad guys out there.
The original series, they were always villains, and it was always like it took until the final movie of the original series for them to really be seen better and to not be seen so one-dimensionally.
Right.
They were always seen so one-dimensionally as the bad guys. They were always the bad guys. They were invented to be bad guys. But as Next Generation came along, Next Generation introduced Worf, and they were also part of the Federation.
Yes.
The Federation.
Yeah.
So like they jumped 100 years ahead to do Next Generation. So it's like somewhere in that 100 years they became part of the Federation and they were no longer enemies to Earth. And so now when they did when they finally did the final movie of the original series, which was Undiscovered Country, they finally were able to start that bridge of bringing the Klingons into being sympathetic and not being bad guys anymore.
Worf is the Yakov Smirnoff of the Klingons.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Because I grew up thinking Russians are evil.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing they care about is evil and communism. And then Yakov Smirnoff came along, and I'm like, hey, he likes America.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a good person. Maybe other Russians are like that. And yeah.
Yeah, Worf was that to a lot of humans. And Worf is one of my favorite characters in Star Trek, period. He also has the most screen time of any actor to be in a Star Trek project. He's been
I don't think I knew that.
He was in 2 series.
Well,
3 if you count Picard, but Picard is a continuation of the Next Generation.
Right.
So, but he was in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
He was in all of the Next Generation movies and in one original series movie. He was in Undiscovered Country, but not as Worf. The actor Michael Dorn was playing a different character. He played a different Klingon in it.
Okay.
Yeah. He played in Undiscovered Country. He played the lawyer of. So Spock and is it Spock? No, not Spock. Bones and Kirk get arrested. Go on trial with the Klingons, and he's their lawyer. He's like the court-appointed lawyer for them.
Okay.
And he was already playing Worf in the Next Generation, and they had him come and do that. They do that a lot, actually. If there's a lot of repeat actors in stuff that you'll see come in different series playing different roles and stuff like that. They kind of have a once they like you they might, because it's easy to change your makeup or whatever because you're playing aliens. It's easy to change you, so it's if they like you, they'll put you in there a few times.
That works out well.
In fact, Zefram Cochrane, what's the actor? He was, he was in Babe. He was the farmer in Babe, and
Okay, yeah, that guy. He passed away.
oh, did he recently?
I think.
Or was it not recently?
I think about two years ago.
He James Cromwell.
That sounds right.
James Cromwell. He was in Star Trek like 3 different characters in Star Trek. In the movie, he was Zefram Cochrane.
Okay.
And then he was like an alien in I think he was in not Generations. That's the movie. He was in Deep Space Nine as a character.
Okay.
He might have been and then in Voyager as a character.
Okay.
And then he was in Enterprise as Zefram Cochrane, as like the footage of him, like videos of him as Zefram Cochrane. But yeah, they like to do that. They'll reuse actors and put them in different roles and stuff like that. And that's fun to see. Like for instance, the pilot episode of the number 1 in the pilot episode, the first officer in the pilot episode of Star Trek, when Captain Pike was the captain before they hired William Shatner, was played by, and I forget the actress's name. It was played by a specific actress. Then she became the voice of the computer of the Enterprise D.
Okay.
Then she was also cast as the mother of Deanna Troi, Loxana Troi. And so she played Loxana Troi for years. She played her in Next Generation and in Deep Space Nine. So she played that character for years.
Okay.
But she was also the voice of the computer of the Enterprise.
So that is a fun Trekkie thing to.
She was the voice of all of the computers. So like she was the voice of the Enterprise, also the voice in Deep Space Nine. Whenever they had a voice on the computer,
right.
She also saw the voice of of Voyager.
I hope she gets residuals for that.
Well, she doesn't anymore because she's dead.
Okay,
but
I hope she
no,
got,
she does. I'm sure she was getting residuals. Also, she was married to Gene Roddenberry.
Well, I'm sure she got plenty of residuals.
So she was married to Gene Roddenberry. She was known as like the first lady of Star Trek. Like she was known as the first. So she honestly probably rivals Worf when it comes to amount of time on screen as a Star Trek character.
Well, not on screen.
But her voice is in every episode of Next Generation and in every episode of Voyager.
And probably
every episode of Deep Space Nine.
Of the original, right?
She was only in the pilot, I think.
But was her voice?
She wasn't the computer of the original Enterprise.
Okay.
She wasn't the voice of the computer in the original Enterprise.
Okay,
Actually, I take that back. She was in other episodes, but as other characters.
Okay.
She wasn't a main character in the original series. So she played the first officer in the pilot, and then they brought her character back for Strange New Worlds, which is the new series that is based on the original series with Captain Pike as the captain. It's all pre-Kirk. And so her character from the pilot is now at the first officer because it's Captain Pike years.
Yeah, just.
But played by Rebecca Romijn.
Okay.
And that's a good. I don't know if you've seen any of it, but it's a good show. I like it a lot.
I have not, but I did see. Well, hold it. I don't know if it was that, but it was. I saw a clip of when Boimler.
Yeah, so they did so I really liked the cartoon was good too, Lower Decks.
Yes.
Which I actually really liked the concept of focusing on the lower officers, the lower ranked officers, the lieutenants and the ensigns, instead of focusing on the bridge officers and watching them kind of rise and become better. I liked that a lot, and the whole thing was full of just
great
nostalgia
jokes.
But it's all everything. It's like if you've seen the whole Star Trek series, like all of them, you would get all these. Every episode was like tons of inside jokes and references to things from the other series. And they did a crossover episode with Strange New Worlds where they did live action. 2 characters became live action for the crossover episode. And it was great. It did really well. And what's his name? Who's that guy? You know, that one guy.
The one guy.
The brothers and I can't think of names. Who was in You Got Mail? Who was the girl in You Got Mail? You know, what's her name?
You Got Mail.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks and
Oh,
also in Joe versus the Volcano.
Oh, that is. Now I'm blanking. I shouldn't, because she's very cute blonde.
Yeah, I can't remember any names.
Yeah.
Well,
her.
Anyway, was married to this guy for a while, and he's a famous actor, and their son,
right,
is played that character in Lower Decks. I can't remember anybody's name. This is people are shouting right now. John is shouting into his car speakers right now.
That is all right.
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan's
son. Meg Ryan and he was the guy in The Rookie, and
Dennis Quaid.
Jack Quaid is the son's name. Jack Quaid is who plays the main character in one of the two main characters in Lower Decks.
Yes.
And then he did so he played him live action in the in one episode of Strange New Worlds, which was great. It was a great episode. Also, anyway, aliens. Extraterrestrial cultures.
Extraterrestrial.
You know what's been coming up a lot lately, and I don't know why this is. I don't know if it got picked up by a streaming service, so it's kind of in the zeitgeist right now. Alf. Do you remember Alf?
I loved Alf.
Recently, I've been seeing stuff about Alf on like TikTok and stuff. Just people talking about the show. I'm like, hey, did you know on Alf this and this? Just things like that. And like I haven't heard, like that show hasn't been talked about in years, and all of a sudden I'm starting to see stuff about it.
I think that Alf recurs occasionally. Like I haven't been seeing anything about him recently, but I remember a run, like I almost want to say like 2-3 years ago, where Alf was just all over the place for me.
Alf was huge in the 90s or whenever that was.
Yes.
It might have started in the 80s, but
like
I feel like
late,
Alf was very
80s.
90s though.
Yeah, late 80s.
If it was 80s, it was
90s.
late 80s, but
Yeah.
it was a sitcom that was, he obviously it was I don't know if you know this, but it wasn't a real alien playing the part. Yeah.
Whoa.
It was a puppet.
Whoa.
And I only say this because the actor who played the puppet was very insistent on not breaking the illusion of it being an alien. So they had to painstakingly make this special set so that he had like places to walk and have the puppet be at ground level. So everyone had to walk at high and he'd be low and with the puppet.
Right.
And people had to watch out and not trip on the holes in the floor and stuff. And he insisted upon it and would not break character. When they were filming, he insisted on it being and pretending that Alf was a real alien, that was a real character and a real person, or not person but alien. And they wouldn't, and it became cumbersome so much that when they went to renew it, he insisted on all these steps to make it, and they couldn't afford it anymore. Like they couldn't afford to do what he wanted, and he wouldn't do promos. Like the actor wouldn't go out and do promo for it, without insisting that it was the alien doing the promo. They had to. In fact, he wouldn't do late night because they wouldn't meet his demands of making a special stage so that he could pretend to not be there, and you would only see the alien.
Which is weird because years later, didn't Alf have a short-lived like talk show?
Yes. So I was going to say at least 2 spin-off shows came of that show. So we have the talk show. He did a talk show for a while, and there was a cartoon.
Yes, I was a big fan of the cartoon.
The cartoon the cartoon was great. The cartoon was a kids show.
Yes.
The sitcom was a family sitcom. Like it was like Full House or anything like that. It was a family sitcom. But the cartoon was a Saturday morning cartoon. It was specifically for kids, and we watched that all the time, every week. And but the show was but yeah, so it had at one point I think 3 shows on the air with Alf as the main character, and it was very successful, but it just, he would not let he didn't want the illusion. He was so committed on keeping the illusion of it that it was too cumbersome for the studios to keep up with it and meet his demands.
It's almost like I'm going to blank on this name, but it's almost like Triumph the
insult dog. Yeah.
Like they learned that lesson. Like, hey, it's okay if you break the illusion as long as the character's good enough.
Yeah, and I think they actually were gonna bring it back at one point too, but he was so demanding of those. He wanted those, to be those things in place and they wouldn't agree to it because it was too expensive. So Alf could have had could have had more life, but he just wouldn't. He wouldn't bend to the what the studio wanted.
Well, I mean, that's his culture.
Yeah, that's his culture. The main thing I remember about Alf culture was I don't remember a lot anymore, but he ate cats. That was that's the main thing I remember.
He ate cats, and he was basically Jewish.
Oh yes, that was definitely he had kind of a Jewish accent, like he was.
And he dressed like, at least in the cartoon, he had like a Hawaiian shirt. He basically was a Jew in Miami.
You know what's funny? He had no clothes on during the sitcom. He wouldn't wear clothes. Yeah. But in the show, in the cartoon, they wore clothes.
Yes.
And the cartoon was a prequel to the sitcom because took place on his homeworld.
Right.
And so they were all there. And I remember at one point you could get an Alf puppet, a little Alf puppet at I want to say like it was a fast food place, like you'd buy, which was weird.
like a McDonald's.
Yeah, but we had
King
like 3 or 4
that.
of them, and they were like he was in different outfits and stuff. And we had the Alf puppet, and we did all kinds of stuff. I think we made a video with it one time.
Wow.
Made some sort of video with the Alf puppet at one time. But man, I don't know where those Alf puppets are now. Alf was so big. Alf was huge for a while there. He had a moment for sure.
Yes, he was definitely must-watch TV for me. And the thing is, when Alf ended, I don't know if you know this, it ended with a cliffhanger.
That's right. And people to this day are upset about that.
Yes.
That it ended with a cliffhanger and we never got a resolution.
And for the people in the audience that may not know, it was intended as a cliffhanger because they expected to be back the next season, and that was a huge thing in the 80s and 90s to end a season that way.
Oh, they would always end seasons on cliffhangers. Every 80s and 90s show ended on a cliffhanger every season. And like it's funny because we were during the pandemic, we watched all of Star Trek: The Next Generation, me and Miriam, and she, obviously I had seen it already. She hadn't though, and it was funny to see the cliffhangers and be like, people had to wait like 3 months to see what was going to happen.
Yes,
like it's insane that people had to wait 3 months for the resolution of this episode.
Now, like the entire seasons are dumped in a day. It's like, I've got to watch this all tonight.
Yeah,
people would die.
They're still doing it these days. Like not every show does it, but like Stranger Things did it. They were doing cliffhangers. The thing about Stranger Things though is it was too long in between. Like it was too much in between.
I lost interest.
Yeah, you lose interest, or like you forget what the cliffhanger was even when the show starts. Like we started the final season of Stranger Things, and I just remember thinking like, wait, what? What are they? We had to go back and watch like a 30-minute review, like a 30-minute recap of the whole series to even understand what was going on, because it had been. What was it, like 2 or 3 years between the
easily
the final two seasons? It was pretty rough.
Yeah,
that studios are starting to realize that though, and they're starting to come out every year like they used to.
Yeah, I'm
more so than they used to do.
I'm looking forward to the Harry Potter series coming out because
I have mixed feelings about it.
Okay. That's because you look like Hagrid.
Yes. I have mixed feelings about it because here's the thing. If Harry Potter was starting now, it definitely should be a TV show. It definitely should never have been movies.
Right.
Like especially but at that time TV shows were not as successful as they are now. Everything's a TV show now. In fact, I would say like anything based off a book series definitely should be a TV show instead of a movie.
Yes.
Look at there's a great series called His Dark Materials, which is based on 3 books, a series of books, and each season is a book. It's great. They made a movie like years ago called The Golden Compass. It was not nearly as good as what they were able to do with the series. Any book series should be made into shows instead of there's a lot of them now that are.
Yep.
And they're doing them very well. And they're great shows. So I don't have it definitely should be a show. Harry Potter should be a show, but there are certain things they're doing. I don't know. Obviously, I'll reserve judgment till we see the first season, but okay. First of all, I don't have a problem changing the race of a character, if you're like, and I'm not even going to be one of those guys that's like, stop messing with our childhood or whatever, I don't care. Make him black, make him white, make him Indian. I don't care. But Snape is supposed to be a not good looking, weird white guy.
Yeah.
That's just what he's supposed to be. And if you've seen the pictures of the guy playing him, he's way too good looking.
Yep.
He's way too cool. Like, he looks cool. I don't have a problem with him being black, but he doesn't look like he should be a pariah. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
He should be. First of all, also, not for nothing, at one point they hang him from a tree, which is not going to be good. And I think I've said this before. I think I've said this on the podcast before.
We have they in the book. He's also described as greasy.
Yes, and it's like you can't. First of all, the kids the whole time are going to be like, "There's something about that guy. I don't know. I don't have any proof that he's bad, but I just don't like him." And it's like you can't put that energy to a black guy. That's not good. That's not going to be a good energy. I don't know. And maybe this guy playing him's a phenomenal actor.
He's an amazing actor.
Is he?
He is.
Okay,
an
fine.
amazing
That's
actor.
great.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I would rather Harry Potter be black. That's how much I don't want. And actually, I take that back. I don't even care if he's black. He's just too cool. Just seeing him in the pictures and just knowing, and he's got first of all, every black guy with a British accent is awesome. Like right off the bat.
I mean, off.
Look at Idris Elba.
I don't want to not look at Idris Elba.
Yes, exactly. Okay? It's like, that's a problem. That's a problem I have with it. Is I feel like they're not taking the time to really care about the source material, and they're just I don't know. And what's his name? Frost, Nick Frost as Hagrid. Great.
Yeah.
That's a great cast.
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane, perfect. Like Robbie Coltrane, nobody will ever beat Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid. He is Hagrid. But Nick Frost, good second place Hagrid. He's going to be great.
I think Nick Frost might end up being better.
You think so? I mean, we'll see. But to me, Robbie Coltrane is Hagrid. But Nick Frost, I think, will be fine. He will be great. I don't have any problem with that.
I think John Lithgow
I think is great too. I think he's going to be a great Dumbledore. Especially, I don't know if you saw him playing Winston Churchill. So he can do the regal British accent. It's going to be great. He's going to be phenomenal as Dumbledore, and other cast members too that are known people. I think are going to be great. Snape's got to have a giant nose and be weird looking. Like,
I as much as
Snape's got to be Alan Rickman. Like, it's just somebody like him.
So Alan Rickman had the look, but he was just way too old when the series started.
That is true. I will say that he was cast too old.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren. Like, he needs to play Snape. That's who's got to play Snape.
Yeah,
he's the perfect Snape.
But I will say,
although he's a little too cool too.
Yeah, they've done such a phenomenal job. I'm with so many of the other series.
It's true. They are very good at what they do.
I'm just going to step back and say, hey,
I am reserving judgment, but there are just things,
But you're just going to judge.
I'm just going to judge anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to watch it, and I'm still going to decide if I like it or not once I watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are no aliens, and there are no extraterrestrials.
They're not.
In Harry Potter.
I will say there is one alien culture that I just cannot get into. I don't care about at all, and that is the Avatar.
You know what? Here's something about Avatar. These movies make money, obviously, or they wouldn't keep making them.
Yeah.
They have the bones to be good writing. They have all this money, and they've done so much to kind of advance CGI, and like the CGI is not bad. Like, there's so much bad CGI now because they're trying to make movies as quickly as possible.
Right.
But they're not. Like, the Avatar movies are good CGI, but nobody really cares about them. Like, can you even have you ever noticed the Avatar movies ever getting into the zeitgeist of culture? Like, have you ever heard somebody quote one?
Nope. The only thing I know I recognize about the Avatar movies is occasionally somebody will somebody will be painted blue for like a sports thing and be like, it looks like a dumb Avatar thing. Or,
sure.
Or it'll be like, hey, isn't that Fern Gully?
Yeah.
That's really it.
What's so funny is, like, they're so big. The movies are big. The movies are blockbusters. The movies do well, but nobody's like a super fan of Avatar. That doesn't exist, which is crazy to have a whole series of movies and spend this much money on them. And they make money. They make their money back. And to not have super fans. I mean, look at every other major franchise that has had success. There's gonna be super fans of that franchise. Of course, Harry Potter and Star Wars, stuff like that. But even even Fast and the Furious. Look at Fast and the Furious, which they're just movies that are a franchise. Even they have permeated into pop culture and the zeitgeist. People say all the time. People quote like "if your family" and stuff like that, and like there's definitely they're in there. Back to the Future was just a movie series. It was
I think one of the biggest cases in points. You mentioned Disney. When people go to Disney, they've got an Avatar area as part of Animal Kingdom. I can't think of anybody going like, "Hey, I want to go see this specific Avatar thing." It's like, hey,
was weird to me.
I want to get on this ride because it's a new ride, but no one talks about.
It's cool. I've been there. I love the Avatar world in Animal Kingdom, and the ride they put you on is good. Like, the ride they made for Avatar is good, but it's also like fine. Like, I'm like, I did it. And it was fun to see like how they built the that part of Animal Kingdom, and they kind of do an optical illusion for the floating cliffs of Pandora and stuff like that. That's all cool. It's all cool stuff, but it's also like nobody was asking for that. Like, nobody was asking for sequels. Like, nobody was asking for more movies, except for the studios because they want to make money. But like, there were no fans out there going like, "We've got to see more of this."
It has to be big overseas. That's
maybe
only thing I can think of.
I could see that. Which, by the way, how has Nickelodeon not sued them by now? like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
They're doing earth, water, and fire. Like, how have they not sued them by now? Like, this is
they
just want to make it more confusing for people.
They absolutely have like the original. There was a movie that came out for Avatar. It was called The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was awful.
They couldn't call it Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They couldn't call it that.
They just called it The Last Airbender because it was too confusing with Avatar.
Yeah, and that I think was why I don't like M. Night Shyamalan anymore.
In fact, the movie was terrible. In fact, when they announced that they were doing an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, I went to go find stuff about it, and I could only find stuff about the blue guy, Avatar movie, the James Cameron movie, and I was like, what is this? What is this? And then eventually you kind of figured out, but the movie was terrible anyway. But the live action series Avatar: The Last Airbender
is really good.
It's very good. It's made by the same people who made
not as good as
cartoon.
the cartoon.
The animated series is so good. It's so good.
It might be it might be the best animated series ever, in my opinion.
It's very good. I love Avatar. My kids love it. My wife loves it. It's a family favorite in our household.
Yeah.
But alien, extraterrestrial cultures.
Extraterrestrial culture, and that is
What's your favorite franchise for extraterrestrials?
My favorite franchise. I am going to have to say the audiobook that I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
Expeditionary Force. It's just a phenomenal series, and like if I could run a TV studio, or it would have to be TV studio. This is one that I'm
surprised it hasn't been picked up or something.
It's probably been optioned, but
nothing's come about yet.
I think it is something that the first book was written in 2015 or so, and this he's just cranking these books out without losing quality.
That's great.
Yes,
that's great. What was I going to say about extraterrestrials?
What's your favorite then?
I had something. Oh, do you ever read Reddit stories? People write small, they'll write there'll be a Reddit prompt. It'll be a thread of write a story about this, and then people will write short stories.
I haven't actively sought them out, but
so I found out about them because they started reading them as TikToks. So they'll read a story and then they'll read it in 3 parts on TikTok, and then there'll be whatever in it's the visual, it'll be somebody playing Minecraft or something.
Right.
But then the audio will be an audiobook version of these stories, and some of them are phenomenal. Some of them I'm we need to do this, write these books. So there was this one thread for a while that was humans are space orcs. Humans are seen as dangerous to other races, and I
believe that,
and it is there's a whole concept that I am shocked nobody's done yet. It's such a cool premise for sci-fi because we're always afraid of the aliens,
right?
But the premise of all these stories is the aliens are afraid of us, and it's first of all, humans have carnivore features, our eyes are in the front of our face. We have canines, all that stuff, and
right.
And first of all, we breathe a substance that is toxic, to everything. Everything degrades because of oxygen. We breathe a substance that eats metal, that. So you put all this together, and aliens are afraid of us, and so there's always these stories always kind of start. They kind of give a little background of how we came in contact with aliens and how we started faster than light speed and stuff like that. And then once we become part of this kind of federation of planets, the humans are kind of seen as this crazy, dangerous race. And then they get put on ships or whatever, and they're we always have and they're almost always told from the perspective of the aliens. And they're well, we got our first human on the ship today, and Everyone's afraid of them, and it's like we every ship has to have a human though, because they do the stuff that we can't do. Like they do the dangerous stuff, like go into oxygenated atmospheres and stuff, things like that, or they go into water, like stuff like that. Like just stuff that's normal to us, or they're like, or like they get scared because we smile, like that's like, and it's like it's seen as like they're showing their teeth kind of stuff, and it's like it's very good writing and very very interesting, these short stories. And or like there'll be a story of like there's also a premise where the humans are underestimated, where it's like it's like the humans are seen as this peaceful race because they always, like in this future, they're always trying to negotiate their way out of war, and they're like, and they just assume the humans are pushovers because of that. But it turns out they do that because they have such a history of destroying themselves with war that they now try to avoid it as much as possible. So then finally something comes along where they need to do it, and then they end up destroying the enemy, and everybody's like, I can't believe they did that. And it's like, this is why we negotiate our way out of wars, because if we didn't, we'd destroy everybody. Like we are the dangerous ones. And it's it's such a unique viewpoint to see it. And it's always written from the perspective of the aliens and how we're weird and stuff like that. And I wish somebody would make something cohesive to do that.
I love that. That is fun. There's another author out there. I forget this lady's name. She's got two books now, and one is like, and they've got interesting titles. One is like A Long Way to an Angry Red Planet or something like that, and the other one's A Close and Common Orbit. But it's mankind is in the stars, and there's all these different aliens out there, and the first book is like it's mostly humans on this spacecraft, but they've got other cultures there, and it's mostly just the world building, like the thing is like, hey, we're going from point A to point B to take this shipment, and it's really just learning about all these aliens along the way. Nothing just groundbreaking as far as the plot goes, but it was like, oh wow, that is just an interesting look at it. And like there's one species you're introduced to, they're like, yeah, we're the last generation. Our species is going to die. It's like our homeworld's gone, and this is it. Oh well, and it's like, wow, that is just such a unique look at it. Like, wow, they know they're gone, and that's it. So that it's just a weird thought there.
That's cool. I think Star Trek is probably my favorite alien culture show.
I think
or a franchise with aliens in it.
Out of like the big nerd things, I think at this point I do take Star Trek over Star Wars.
I mean, I like Star Wars a lot. Star Wars, to me though, Star Wars isn't. So here's the thing that I like about Star Trek is it's very, or it should be. Some of the series aren't, that kind of deviate from this, but it should be very dialogue driven, and it should be very philosophical.
Yes.
Whereas Star Wars isn't. I mean, there's definitely the Force and the Jedis. There's some philosophy in there, but it's an action movie. They're action movies.
Yeah.
They're sci-fi. They're Western, sci-fi action adventure movies. Whereas Star Trek is, you sit and talk about stuff, and you learn about things, and you put a mirror up to current culture, and it's always been that. It's always been kind of this mirror to the culture of us and stuff like that, which I love. So when we're talking about extraterrestrial cultures, Star Trek takes the cake for me as far as that.
I get it. Well, we're at the point now where I'm going to say, do you have any shows coming up?
No.
No.
No, yes, February 21st.
February
21st, I'm back at the Murray Hill Theater.
Oh, awesome.
We're who is doing the show? The comic doc. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've worked with him before. Now I wish I could remember his name. He's the headliner. Dang it, I can't remember his name.
I am friends
I
with
wanna say
him on like Vian.
Yeah, but
Faman.
yeah, my phone is recording us right now, so I can't look him up. But he is the headliner for February 21st, Murray Hill Theater. Get your tickets. I'll be posting about it pretty soon. It's going to be a great show, great lineup. And then
I might come. I might try to do a guest set because I met him at.
I worked with him. I've worked with him twice. I worked with him at Snappers in the Bay Area, and I worked with him somewhere else too. I want to say.
Vian Famachan.
Okay, the comic doc. Wait, let me see. Famach. Oh yeah, I think it might be Famachan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not emceeing, so I don't have to say his name. But I'll be featuring for that show. But anyway, should be a good lineup. By the way, they are it's kind of worked out recently that they're doing them once a month right now. They were doing them quarterly, but it just with the headliner schedules, we've got one in February and March and April right now.
Nice.
So there's a good 3-month run where they're going to be every month. But I don't know moving forward if we're going to keep it. But more news to come, but I'm going to be very involved with that now.
Excellent.
I'm going to be a lot more involved with that and the process and the more behind the scenes process. Also, there's some big things coming up with First Coast Living. We're going to be doing a lot more with First Coast Living in the next few weeks, or month or so, next few months or so. But definitely come out February 21st. This weekend.
This weekend, I'm going to be in St. Augustine, Third Space Improv, on Friday the 13th, which is a scary day.
Yeah.
The day before Valentine's Day, also very scary day. And then on Valentine's Day, I'm going to be at Savannah Comedy Review Club 1 in Savannah. And yeah, those are my big things. Plus, I've got the play that I'm going to be in. That's going to be in April. So we'll talk about that more later.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Today is Extraterrestrial Culture Day.
Extraterrestrial Culture Day.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm Joey Nickel.
I'm Bobby Parker.
Today is whatever we say it is, and you're here for it. See you tomorrow.
Have a good one.
Today is whatever they say it is, and we're here for it.